So, Estonia has become the first Eastern European country to legalize gay marriage. A few of you have asked me to comment on it, making the assumption that I'd be surprised, but I'm not, and that's because I believe gay marriage to be an inevitability for all developed nations. Let me explain. We first have to understand the purpose of heterosexual marriages. Why did it become the norm, developing independently throughout the world in hugely varied societies? Well, it's because in the pre-modern world, sex was unfathomably dangerous. This was a universal fact. In a world without effective birth control, pregnancy was an inevitability, and unintended fatherless children were one of the most calamitous situations that could befall a society. In an agricultural world without a strong state and welfare, who would be financially responsible for the child and the mother? Whose family farm does the child belong to? Who's going to provide education? Who's going to teach it how to farm? Who's going to provide security? This is why illegitimate children had such strong stigmas attached to them in pretty much every pre-modern society. This is why premarital sex was so stigmatized. This is why monogamy was so important. And if we add the fact that subsistence farming was the norm, where survival was a constant struggle for everyone, where the people themselves were the main economic drivers, where simply replacing the population was a miracle, every society self-optimized for survival and pretty much all ended up in the same place with using the same model. You simply could not have loose sexual morality in the pre-modern world, and thus marriage became the pragmatic, universal institution that ensured the proper environment for a child to be born and raised. Sex, reproduction, and marriage were the trio so tightly bound, one was inconceivable without the others. I want to reaffirm the traditional family structure and the antagonism of homosexuality, premarital sex, and the fathers as the heads of the family weren't a thing because of sexism or the patriarchy or prudeness or homophobia. They were social stigmas directed by pragmatics and the will to survive. And then industrialization and birth control came into the picture. With industrialization came the end of subsistence farming. No longer did more children equal more economic wealth for the family. Rather, it was the opposite. Industrialization also saw the power of the state increase at an exponential level. No longer was a father with the means needed to raise children. The state could now do this instead. A fatherless child was no longer a death sentence. And here comes birth control. No longer was sex dangerous. It became a consequence-free thing for the first time in human history. And thus, the whole reason marriage existed as a sacred institution that has been around since time immemorial was ripped away. No longer did it have the responsibility to provide the appropriate environment for sexual relations, and its purpose of providing the only way to raise children was made redundant as well. Apart from its ceremonial importance because of its long legacy, let's think about it. What's the point of marriage? And since it's practically lost all significance with reproduction, since people can engage with sex outside of marriage without consequence, what's the point of keeping it to just heterosexual couples? There's no reason at all, and thus it becomes an inevitability that it will be opened to others. And now here we are. Do you think I'm wrong in my quite provocative opinion piece? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.